Operator, you have remembered well how the Tenno arm themselves.
This is probably going to get me killed, but I'll give it a shot anyway. Corpus defense. Hopefully somebody shows up for this one. Trying to do it solo is going to be pretty rough.
Defend the cargo until reinforcements arrive.
Low-level worlds like this, you don't get a lot of foot traffic, unfortunately. I shot your butt. It wasn't too bad. I can probably hang on for 5 waves here. Uh-oh. Don't like that at all. Get the feeling the enemy count's kind of toned down because I'm early in the game. Typically a defense mission's going to be a lot busier than this. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna be just fine. I don't want to speak too soon, but... Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Gotta say, for what is probably the worst shotgun in the game, the Strun's doing just fine. So far, at least. No, you don't. Hate these flying drones. Oh, that ship is messing me up. Back off. I feel like I'm reloading every 10 seconds, though. I think that's it. There we go.
Unless you can handle more of the enemy.
Got a fighting style for some scythes, a couple of resources I need, an ammo drum, which is maybe not the most useful thing in the world.
New alert marked on navigation, Tenno. Navigation has been updated with new invasions. Chaos is spreading.
Excellent armaments, operator. Please return
Covered in blood.
safe and sound.
So I've got another 6 capacity to throw at this bow staff, so I'll go ahead and put the shocking touch on here. Give myself a little extra electric damage. Since it already has a cold mod on there, they're actually going to combine to make a new element. So anytime you equip 2 different elements onto a weapon, they'll combine to make a compound element. In this case, cold and shock will make magnetic, which is going to break enemy shields pretty effectively. which will be useful against the Corpus. I have something done on my foundry. I must have built this last time at the end of the stream. Taxon, so I got my first companion here. Once I collect that guy, I can go back to the arsenal and equip him in this companion loadout slot. And he's going to come preloaded with a couple of weapons and some abilities, which I can throw on here. And he's basically going to follow me around and help me during combat. These things are very, very useful to have. The Taxon in particular comes preloaded on everyone's account, so whenever you start a new Warframe game, you're going to have one of those blueprints available. You just got to get the resources. It's meant to be a starter companion, so you get the resources for it very quickly. And it's going to be pretty helpful. He comes with a little freeze ray, which is great because, as you guys have seen in the missions, enemies in this game move really fast. Down. Let's see. Spy mission. I think I might go back and re-equip that bow. I think I had a bow last time. Because as the name suggests, spy missions are stealthy, so you really want something that's going to be able to strike silently. Check and make sure all my mods are up to date on this, and they aren't, so I'm glad it looked. Wonder if I have enough resources to upgrade that. I bet you I don't. Huh, actually, surprisingly, I can a couple times. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright. It's a big damage boost. That's going to be helpful in this mission. And you know what also is going to be real helpful? Game doesn't necessarily tell you this, but you can buy these things called codex scanners, which you can use to scan enemies to get lore entries on them and also learn their weaknesses. I'm going to pick some up in the market now because you'll see they're very useful for spy missions. So that will be under equipment and then gear. And this is what I want right here, the codex scanner. They're very cheap. You can buy them with credits, and I think they cost maybe 500 for a stack of 25, so they're super, super cheap. Go ahead and buy a couple stacks. And because it is categorized as a piece of gear, as the market menu said, you actually have to equip those. So I'm going back over here, go to my gear section in my arsenal, and I just assign it to one of these wheel slots. I'm going to want that whenever we get into the mission here. I am also going to want to set it to solo matchmaking. If you press triangle on the world map, you can pick different modes. I personally find that internet randos are very, very bad at spy missions. And while I'm not hating on them, I'm not going to send them any hate mail or anything, I might want to try and do this one alone if I can. So I'll give this a shot. Alright, so whenever you do a spy mission, you're going to be presented with a map that has 3 points of interest, A, B, and C on it. You don't have to be stealthy through the whole mission, thank God, because that would be a real nightmare in this game. Obviously, Tenno are not the greatest at being stealthy. You really only need to be sneaky in the actual vaults at A, B, and C. So I'm just going to kind of haul butt to get to the first one. Maybe bust up some fools along the way. This bow staff is really murdering these guys now. That extra magnetic damage is working real well against these guys because they are mostly shield. I was going to try and get a stealth attack on that guy. Like that. Get some good bone cracking noises on that one. So you guys probably saw my little companion doing some work. He's using his freeze ray on the guys automatically. Useful offensively and defensively. Oh, I've triggered an alarm. But not a bad alarm, because I'm still not in the vault. So I'm going to be okay. I'll just see some more enemies until I hack one of these panels. Let me get some of these guys off of me first. Okay, that'll give me enough breathing room. Okay, back down to normal alert status. I don't necessarily want to, even though it's not going to mess up one of the vaults for me, I don't really want to go into a vault in a heightened alert status, because there's a chance that someone will follow me in, and then he will trip all the alarms, which we don't want that. Oh, that's an Eximus. No wonder he's so tough. Unfortunately for him, bow and arrows shoot through walls in this game when they're fully charged. Alright, so this is our first vault. You can usually recognize them by the waypoint and that they will always be locked when you get to the front door. So, I'm going to hack this panel, open it up. We'll see what we're working with here. Alright, so I want to be very careful from this point on, because if anything spots me in the vault, it's going to trigger a countdown, and then I'll have a minute to get to the point of interest. If I don't, I'll fail this particular vault, which doesn't fail this mission, but it means I'll get less rewards the more times I fail. I get a bonus reward if I can do all of them without being spotted, so that's what I'm going to go for. First thing I usually like to do whenever I see one of these vaults is I'll pull out that codex scanner that I got from before. So I press down on the D-pad, it'll bring up a wheel with all of my gear and my emotes. I'll throw on this codex scanner. And I can use it by pressing my aim button. So the button you usually do to scope stuff. And this is why they're handy. Whenever they blink like that, you can actually see interactable objects and enemies through walls. This is super, super handy for spy missions, because you can see where all the dudes are. Right now it looks like there's only one of them over there, and this camera that's right above me. So I'll deal with the camera first, and when old boy comes around on his patrol, I'll take him out. I'm going to use throwing knives and bow only when I'm around here. That way I don't alert the guard. Alright, let's see if I can sneak around behind him and get him with a stealth attack here. Take one more look around just to make sure I didn't miss any guards or anything. I'm seeing this little box right there. That looks like a camera to me. There's another one over there, so I'll have to watch out for those guys. Okay, I see the cone of vision from that camera. So I'm going to wait for it to sweep to the right and kind of sneak around. Okay. I think we're in the clear. Two, you can kind of go through the ceiling vents if you want to get around enemies, things like that. So this is our kind of the center of the vault. This is what we need to hack. This is going to be a harder hacking puzzle than some of the other ones we've seen, but this early in the game it'll probably be pretty easy still. And it is.
Data extracted. They won't even know it's gone.
It doesn't come across particularly well visually, but what I'm doing in that puzzle is basically making sure all the lines connect by rotating pieces using L1 and R1. That's one type of puzzle in the game, and the other one is just strictly a timing-based puzzle, which we'll see if I go to any Grenier worlds. B and C are across the way, so I'm going to hop across in a second after I take these fools out. I'm feeling sneaky, so I'm going to walk along the rail up here.
Heavy robotic signature detected. Lock and load.
Oh, dropship coming in. Gotta get indoors. Alright, looks like B's to the right, C's straight ahead. I'll go for B first. Alphabetical order and all that. You do get bonus EXP for killing enemies with stealth, and it will increase that bonus the more times you do it in a row. So if you see an opportunity for a stealth kill, go for it. You can level up pretty quickly that way. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get somewhere where they can't see me by accident. I'm going to pull out my codec scanner, see if there's anybody around. It doesn't look like there's anyone on this floor of the building, so I'm going to move ahead a little bit. I have a big advantage here because I've done these vaults several times, obviously, so I kind of know the layout here. But slow and steady wins the race with these things. Alright, so I can see down into the main area here. I don't see any guards down there either. So this is mostly going to be cameras, probably. Think I'm good. I don't really see anything, to be honest. I've got these laser walls right here, which I could probably jump over, but I'm not going to risk it, so I'll walk around. If I run into one of them, it'll trigger the alarm, same as it would if a camera spotted me. I don't see any cameras in here either, so we should be in luck. Oh, I thought that was a camera for a second. That's a turret. Never mind. Alright, same puzzle as before, but rotated. Cool.
Excellent work. A clean extraction with no alarms.
2 down, 1 to go. Oh, it might be worth mentioning you don't have to worry about stealth on the way out. Once you have that center console hacked, you'll be fine. My speed power is so sad right now.
Alarms successfully hacked. The location is returning to normal security levels.
Alright, so this is our third one here.
The target console is nearby.
Got an elevator
Trigger the
down.
alarms now. The enemy will start destroying data.
This looks like it's a pretty tall area, judging by where I'm seeing everything placed at. The game's pretty good about not putting ambushes in elevators, so you can safely take this one down. Yep, there are the cameras. Take that one out real quick. Alright, we've got movement. There's a dude over there. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on. There's a lot of objects in this area. But I think I can take him out real quick. Safely. No one came running, so they didn't see the flying corpse, which is good. Okay. Whoop. There we go. Simple enough. Alright, 3 for 3. Woo! So I'm going to get that bonus prize, which is always a plus. I got a lot of stuff leveled up off of that. You get bonus EXP for hacking those as well. They call you Sticky Fingers. That sounds kind of offensive.
Walkers incoming.
Freeze Ray is doing some good work for me. Alright, there's our extraction point right there. Not too bad. So for rewards on that one, I got a couple of new mods I didn't have before, and some resources it looks like. It's all good stuff. Alrighty, I guess I'm gonna keep clearing sectors at this point. I kinda wanna try and get to Mercury. What are my goals here? Defeat Jackal on Venus, so that's gonna be the boss of this area. At Fossa sector. So he's over here. Looks like I'll have to get to Aphrodite and go through Venera to get there.
Operator, are you enjoying the
Complete 10 waves of defense at Tessera sector, which I actually did already, I just didn't go far enough. And then rescue a hostage at Linnea. Where's Linnea? Linnea's right here. Let's start with that. Switch it back to public so I can get some randos in here to help me if they're around.
There is a prisoner here that is vital to our operations. Search for the holding location.
Yeah, so rescue missions are kind of similar to spy missions in that they call for some stealth. I did one of those during the first stream because you have to as part of the introductory missions, but in case y'all didn't catch that, basically I'm going to find my little waypoint here, and there's going to be a heavily guarded area with a hostage in it somewhere. And the idea is to hack the various prison cells in that area and try and find the one that has our hostage. If I get spotted in that area, they'll start counting down to a mission failure. But like the spy missions, I don't need to be stealthy until I actually get to the place, so I can be as obnoxious as I want right now. I mean, I could walk around. Or I could do that. I don't think hucking lightning at people is ever going to be not entertaining. Ow.
You are approaching the holding area. Careful. If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence.
So thankfully the Lotus gives you a little bit of a heads up whenever you get to the area.
The bypass is done. Go.
Alright, so just like the spy missions, I'm going to use my codex to see if I can scope out where the guards are. There's one walking that way. I see another one over there. Let me get behind a crate so he doesn't see me. The guards and rescue missions in the highly secure areas have a ton of HP. It's going to be really difficult to one-shot them and avoid getting spotted unless you sneak up on them and actually do a backstab. So that's what I'm going to go for. Although this guy looks like a regular dude, so he's probably not that tough. Alright, one down. Where'd the other dude go? He's far enough away that I can't see him, which means I'm probably good. There he is. Come here. I see a breakable vent. And a guard over there. I think he's far enough away he won't spot me though. Sometimes there are guards inside the vault too, so be careful with that.
Find our prisoner in one of these cells.
So there's 2 waypoints. These are the 2 jail cells that he could be in. We don't know which one, so we have to hack them all until we find him. Nothing. Means our target should be in here.
I'm in your debt, Tenno.
Alright. So now it turns into an escort mission on the way out. Luckily they can fight for themselves a little bit. They're unarmed, but you can give them your secondary weapon, so I'm going to hand over my throwing knives. They're kind of bad though, so he might not be so great. I'm going to sneak my way out as well. You can hack the door and kind of blast your way out of here, but it's a little risky because the front door is usually very heavily fortified, and it's still going to be. So I'm going to try and sneak out if I can. Uh-oh. Screw it. That was an interesting interpretation of physics. Check these side rooms for breakable stuff. You don't have to worry too much about your rescue target following you closely. They kind of teleport to your position if they get far away. Oh geez. They're waiting for me. Now might be a good time for an energy shield. Nope, get away. This is where a bow and arrow is really handy, fighting at very long distance. I'm just gonna make a dash for the exit. Woo! We made it. Got a good bit of polymer bundles and circuits off of that. I might be able to start building some weapons soon. Okay, let's check it out. Knowing what I know about the game, polymer bundles and circuits are good for laser weapons, so I'm going to check out something that looks lasery. A lot of this stuff is still master rank locked, unfortunately. I don't know if I have a lot of good options here. I'm still pretty early in the game. A lot of what you can get to, you'll need a couple different planets worth of resources to build them. So for the first couple of worlds, you're kind of got your hands tied a bit.
It said, cosmic background radiation is a riot.
It's going to open up for me a little bit pretty soon. Yeah, I don't think I can build anything. Bummer. Alright, let's see. So I got my rescue target. There's that. Complete 10 waves of defense. And defeat the area boss. I guess I'll start headed towards Fossa sector. Clear this on the way there.
You are here on a capture mission. You must find, capture, and extract our target.
Whoa!
Scans indicate our target is in the vicinity. Find them. You found a target. Capture them quickly before they
Ow.
escape.
One of those barrels was explosive. These throwing knives are not great. Switching back to the bow.
We've been locked out. Let's override the security.
Oh, there's my target. Ow.
Mission complete. The captive has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done. Looks like heavy activity ahead. Breach complete. We're free to proceed.
think I'm just gonna haul butt to the exit. Tired of fighting these fools. Oh boy, an ammo drum. My favorite. Okay, so it's after 7 o'clock my time, which means I get my daily login reward. Let's see what we got today. 2-hour credit booster. Yeah, those ammo drums, they go for a ton on the black market. Well, at least, you know, to the one guy. Alright, so for my login reward, I got a 2-hour credit booster, which means for the next couple hours, I'm going to get double credits, which is pretty awesome. Especially when you're starting out. I see a little icon in my top left-hand corner. I think I'm ready for my next mastery rank test. Alright, so if I beat this one, I'm going to get +1 loadout slot, which allows me to have like presets of gear and abilities. Plus 1,000 daily standing, which we don't know what that means yet. 50 void trace storage. We also don't know what that means. And +1 minimum mod capacity. So that means any new item that I have is going to have 1 more capacity to start with. One day. One day. Garrett here is having some difficulties with his Master Rank 9 test. Some of these get pretty tricky. The MR9 one is a stealth test. Where they determine your gear. So it's a real pain in the butt. This one should not be that bad. So we get all those rewards. The big one up top in the blue is the important one. Master Rank 2, you get trading access. That's right. Eat your heart out, Destiny. You can actually trade items in this game. Holy hell. Well, once you're MR2 anyway.
Ability with a sidearm. Eliminate all targets.
Okay, so I just have to fight some people with my sidearm. That's not too bad.
Again.
Do it again. Do it again. I like how the melee guy is like, what am I supposed to do about that? He's all the way up there.
Ready yourself.
Whoa. These guys must be pretty terrible if my crummy Mark 1 kunais can take them out in a couple hits.
This test is now complete. Another job well executed.
Alright. Master Rank 2. Alright, so now that I have trading access, you know, I can contact other players. There's an inline chat channel for it that comes stock standard with the game. You can actually see it running in the bottom left of my screen right now. People are buying and selling stuff all the time. The actual mechanics of this are a little bit different, though. You have to go to specialized areas to trade with people. You can't just kind of do it on the fly. There's two major ways to do this. You can either get into a clan and do trading at their kind of clan base, or there's a public trading area that you can get to. So let's go back to Earth and check out Maru's Bazaar. It's over here on the right side of the map. I actually haven't unlocked all the sectors leading up to it, but because it's kind of a special area, I can still get into it. So I'm going to go there. So Maru's Bazaar is kind of like a neutral zone where people can go to hawk their wares. There's usually a ton of people in it. I don't know how busy this particular time of day is, because I don't come here very often, but let's see what's going on. This will actually be the first non-combat area I've been in streaming, other than my ship. There's a couple of these in the game. Maru's Bazaar is explicitly for trading, but after this we'll go to the relays, which are laid out similar but have different purposes. I apologize, my game's lagging a little bit, trying to load everyone's character models in. So this is your main trading concourse that you have right here. They're kind of just vague shadows right now, but they're loading everyone's models in. You can come to this area and you can see all the different items that people are selling. And the way you can do it is whenever you see someone with a hand up like this, you can walk up to them and see what they're trading. So like this guy, for example, he's trading lith relics, you know. This guy's got a Bronco Prime blueprint. And if they have something that's interesting to you, you can interact with them. I don't really have anything to trade, which is why I'm not doing it just yet. But the interface is fairly self-explanatory. I trust y'all to be able to figure it out. There's also an NPC in here which you can interact with to get some special missions, but I'm not going to get into it right now because I'm pretty sure I'd get destroyed. So we'll talk. Oh, that was weird. Tried to leave the relay and it just brought me back to it. Oh no. I can never leave. I'm trapped forever. Okay. No, I'm fine. Alright, so back to Venus here. See, complete 10 waves at defense. Maybe I think I want to keep pushing towards the boss, so I'm going to do this mobile defense mission here.
This is a mobile defense mission. You must deliver payloads and defend a number of locations while I break into the network. Be prepared for heavy resistance. I can't do this without you. Location reached. Drop me in and defend our position.
Really wish I had some other people with me. This is gonna be a rough solo.
I'm in, Tenno. This will take a moment. Still working on it. Continue to defend.
Look at him fly.
We are finished here. Move on.
Don't gotta tell me twice.
Proceed and prepare. Here is a terminal. Get me in and get ready to defend. I'm in, Tenno. This will take a moment.
I hate aiming at those flying drones. They're too twitchy. I took the laser out and just threw some lightning at it.
Still working on it. Continue to defend.
One thing I like about the companion's freeze beam is that it's kind of an early warning system for enemies, so whenever someone gets close, he gets frozen, but you also have a line directly at him, so you're like, you know somebody's right there. Clever bit of design for a companion that's meant to be a starter companion for newer players.
Area completed. Move on. Terminal spotted. Upload me and prepare to defend. I'm in, Tenno. This will take a moment. Still working on it. Continue to defend.
I like this little defense spot because they really can only come from two different ways.
were against us, Tenno. Mission complete.
Run away! Alright, so that brings us to the boss area against Jackal. I guess I should see before I go into a boss if I can throw any more mods on there. Just make sure I'm fully juiced up.
If I may say, operator.
I have a lot of capacity on my Volt.
Ha, ha.
Faster shield recharge, I definitely want that. Let's level that up if we can. I think that's pretty much all I'm going to be able to do there. I don't really have anything I can throw on my bow at all. Okay, I think I'm all kind of geared up. Let's go see what Jackal's all about. So Jackal is usually the second boss that people come across in the natural progression of things. At this point we're in full-on kind of open world map, so it's not necessarily always going to be the second one you get, but it's most of them.
Corpus recently introduced their most lethal security proxy yet. Determine its location.
And because it's a boss zone, there's going to be a lot of foot traffic, so you'll actually see a lot of randos like my buddy here kind of popping in.
Nicknamed the Jackal, this is the same deadly quad robot, which has become extremely problematic for ourselves.
So even if you can't necessarily handle it by yourself, there's probably a good chance someone's going to show up while you're doing the mission.
They spotted you.
Trivial threat? You don't know who you're talking to, buddy.
Alarm is successfully hacked. The location is returning to normal security levels.
Oh hey, another rando. We almost have a full squad. That'll be helpful.
Do not dismiss the Jackal as just another Corpus proxy. This will be unlike any enemy you have faced yet.
Gonna wait for my squad mates to take the elevator down.
We've got robots.
Don't want to leave someone behind. Apparently the other guy doesn't have any such compunctions though.
This will be unlike any enemy you have faced yet.
And here he is. The boss isn't going to go live until all of our squad gets here, which is why it's misguided to use the elevator without the rest of them. Here's our third team member now.
Target spotted. Stay sharp. This one is a handful.
Alright, so Jackal's a bit of a, I don't want to call it a puzzle boss, because it's like the barest puzzle imaginable, but you can't damage him until you break his legs. But up until this point, we haven't seen any enemies that aren't just shoot him until he's dead. So it's a little bit different. Not very different, though. Uh-oh. There's a plot twist. No, please. No missiles. Ow. Oh, brought in some ads. Whoa! Ouch. Okay, maybe melee is not the best decision. Almost got him. Really should have brought my shotgun with me. That would have been good for this guy. Uh-oh. Teammate down. Man, I forgot how long it takes to take down Jackal when you're first facing him. Jeez Louise. I'm about to be dead too. If I can get one of his legs down. He's almost dead. There we go. Good job, team.
Target down. Assassination contract complete. Great work, Tenno. Heavy robotic signature detected. Lock and load.
Alright. So yeah, every one of the planets in the solar system has a boss. They all have different kind of ways of beating them. Some of them are straightforward fights. A couple of them are sort of varying degrees of puzzle boss. And some of them are straight up like gigantic raid boss monstrosities. Just kind of depends what you get. They all, for the most part, drop parts to different warframes or playable characters. So if you're looking for different frames to use, that's how you get them, is by fighting the bosses. We'll see in a moment, whenever I get my rewards, I will have gotten a part for Rhino. Unfortunately, you have to wait for everybody to get to the extraction point, or a minute after the majority of your squad. It looks like some of our squad members got a little bit lost here, so we're just hanging out. Here it comes. Woo!
They won't be bothering us anymore. Let's get out of here.
Alright. So I got Rhino Neuroptics, which is basically a helmet. All of the frames that you get are composed of 4 parts. There's Neuroptics, Chassis, Systems, and the blueprint to put all of them together. So to get a new frame, you usually have to build all 4 of those parts separately, and then get the blueprint and kind of tie it all together. I'm going to leave this squad real quick so I don't get dragged along to a different mission. Alright, let's see what we got here. Rhino Neuroptics, I need Amorphix, Alloy Plate, Polymer Bundle, and Rubido, all of which I have, so I'm going to go ahead and start building this now. Warframes take a very, very long time to build. All of the individual parts take about 12 hours. And the frame itself, to pull them all together, takes 72. So, if you want a new frame, you gotta start early in the week. Let's see, I'll be looking to wrap up this stream in about 20 to 30 minutes, so I want to touch on some of the other stuff that I think is important for early game. I mentioned earlier that one of the ways that you can trade is by getting invited to a clan dojo. So these are the home bases for the in-game kind of social networks. These are made by players, and you can pretty much anyone can start a clan. It's free, doesn't cost any money, just takes a little bit of setup paperwork. You can look it up on the Wikipedia how to do this. It's a very involved process, but the easiest thing to do is to go onto the trading channel and actually request a trade with somebody. I'll show y'all mechanically how that works, and also let's talk about how to join a clan. So clans are very, very important because Warframe is a team sport. If the last hour and a half of me stumbling through this game as like a veteran player has shown anything, it's that it can be tough to get started in this game. Joining a clan early can help with that. There are groups of players you can join. You get access to a chat channel that is unique to your clan members. You get access to a home base that has new weapons and characters that you can't get anywhere else. Very helpful stuff to have. Most clans to join are free. If anyone is charging an entry membership, then fuck them. Because, like, there's definitely a lot of good people out there. You don't need to grok with any of that nonsense. And clans are recruiting all the time. There's actually a chat channel that comes enabled by default in the game that allows you to seek people out for recruiting purposes. People use it to set up squads for missions if they need randos to fill out their squad. But clans also use the recruiting channel to look for new members. So if you're looking to join a clan, go to your recruiting channel, take a look. People are, you can actually see it in some of the chat right now. People look around for new members all the time. I actually took a little bit of time, and my buddy Garrett took some time and sent me an invite to the clan earlier, so I have one of these right here. If you get an invite, let me back up, go to your start menu and then communication and inbox. You will get a message that says you've been invited to a clan, the Void Lounge. I don't know what these guys are all about. I'm going to accept, though. And once I do so, I'm going to get a little pop-up thing that says, you joined the Void Lounge. Your dojo is now visible on navigation. Build your clan key in the foundry to enter it. Clan membership gives access to trading, base building, customization, exclusive item research, events, and much more. Welcome, Tenno. It's kind of a synopsis of what I went through there. Y'all might have noticed in the bottom left-hand corner I got an additional icon in my chat window. So this little shield here is your clan chat. So I can now chat with anyone who's in my clan, kind of see who's online right now. I can form squads with people, so I can actually kind of interact with the folks that are on here and talk to them, invite them to my squad if I've got a spare slot, anything like that. I actually know the guy in real life there. Centaur Infinus is a good friend of mine. I don't know if he knows my alt account though, so I'm going to leave him alone for now. So if I back out of Venus right here, you notice there's a new area on my star map, this dojo area. This is kind of the hub for your clan. Right now it's blank. It's because I haven't built that clan key that they mentioned in the pop-up thing. So I'm going to go over to my foundry and check that out. Alright, so clan key. It's fairly cheap to build. I just need a unit of Morphix, some ferrite, polymer bundles, all of which are easy to get. Right now I'm about, let's say 3 hours into the game on this account, and I have almost everything that I need. I could have built it, except I spent my Morphix on that Rhino blueprint, so that's kind of a bummer. My bad. It would take 12 hours to build, so in essence, seek out a clan that needs members, sign up, most of them are happy to have people, and build that clan key. Takes 12 hours, and then after that you can get into the dojo and start trading with people. Most clans have all of their research unlocked already, so you get a full access to a full armory of new weapons, warframes, things of that nature. Can be a really big help, and you can't underestimate the value of having a group of people that you can pull from for missions. That's huge. Like, a lot of activities in this game are very hard to do solo, especially in early game before you're kind of powered up by your mods and things like that. So it's really good to have people that are kind of available to help you out. Let's see. Trying to think what else we want to talk about here. So earlier we saw Maru's Bazaar, which is kind of a trading area. There's one other type of town that's available to y'all. If you go back to Earth, you'll see this icon called Strata Relay. This is your town area. A couple different planets have them. They're all laid out the same. So if you go to one and see it, you see them all. I'm going to do a brief tour of this, and I think that will probably be a good time to call the stream. So the relays are yet another non-combat area. They serve a couple different purposes to kind of see some interesting scenery. Alright, so if you walk into the main concourse area, you'll see it's kind of laid out similar to the Bazaar, but there's more to it. It's a little bit less decrepit. This is pretty quiet for Relay, actually. Typically, there's a lot of players going around. It's a very popular thing to do in these relays to show off your fashion frame. So if you've got some shiny gear you want to stand around and look cool, that's something that people do pretty often here, as we can see from our dancing friend. This main area doesn't have too many interactable objects in it. There is a kiosk right here, which ties into the ducat system and prime items, along with a mysterious counter that says trader surfacing in 5 days. So if anyone is familiar with Destiny and how things work, there's a clear analog for this. Just like there is a Xur that shows up every, I think it's 2 weeks, maybe 1 week, with special items that you can buy using a special currency. There's something similar in Warframe. He's called the Void Trader. He shows up every 2 weeks. He has a rotating inventory of really cool items. This counter shows when he's going to show up next, so he's going to be next weekend. If I move past this concourse and up to the kind of first floor here, is arranged in a semicircular pattern, and you'll see a couple of these doors that have symbols on them. These are the headquarters of some NPC organizations called the Syndicates. Mostly you can interact with these guys at Master Rank 3 or higher, so there's not a whole lot that I can do with them yet, but I'll go through and show you their areas at least, because they're pretty cool looking. This is New Loka. They're kind of your space druids. Very hippy-dippy. Kind of against violence in general. They talk a lot about purity. I hate them. I hate them so much. But their trees are cool. It's very neat. I like the holographic earth up there. That's cool. Over here, this is the Perrin sequence. So these are your socialist businessmen that are all about redistribution of wealth and kind of making a profit to stop war. Very high-tech little area. They're kind of splinter group of the Corpus, which we have been fighting up until this point. This is the Red Veil. They definitely look like they're the bad guys of the game, and they may be. We're not 100% sure yet. They're kind of all about, like, cleansing the world through fire. You know, let's burn all the bad guys down and do whatever it takes, all that jazz. If you walk to the back, they're definitely torturing a guy on their table here. A lot of people like the red veil because of the edgelord imagery. If I go over to the opposite side, right here, this is your Steel Meridian. They are a defector group from the Grineer who we've been fighting. But they're kind of more like, they're about fighting war for the sake of protecting people, as opposed to the Grineer who are just about fighting war in general. Steel Meridian are good guys. This is my favorite particular syndicate headquarters for Cephalon Suda, the hyper-intelligent AI that's all about gathering information. I love that breakaway. So cool. And then last but not least, you have the Arbiters of Hexus. And they are kind of your very dogmatic, everyone follows the rules or else sort of people. I think they have a pretty cool area too. I definitely feel like I'm on trial anytime I walk in here, which I guess is kind of the idea. So I can't interact with these because I'm not Master Rank 3 yet. I will be pretty soon, and when I am, I'll come back and kind of talk about mechanically what those guys do. It is yet another system in this system full of systems, so I'm not going to get into it yet. If you go to the way back of the first floor, there's a couple other areas that are something a little bit different. You have this very beautiful area that is for the Conclave. So this ties into the PvP system in this game, which admittedly I have very little knowledge of. I haven't ever PvP'd in this game, so I don't really know 100% how it works. I'm going to get into it one of these days, but I really love their area. It's very, very cool looking. So this is where, if you are a PvPer, you can turn in your kind of bonus points to get extra stuff. Then over here on this side is the navigation room. You can launch missions from here if you don't want to launch them from your ship. Mechanically, they're not any different. It's just a way to do it from the relays. Over here we got a little elevator. And there's two more areas up here on the second floor. So this is Darrow's Market. He sells items with platinum, the cash currency, but he sells them at pretty steep discounts. So if you got a little bit of plat and you want to try and get some weapons on the fly without having to craft them, this is a good way to do it. His sales kind of rotate daily, so you can check it out. He also sometimes has quests for you and whatnot. And then across the way, this is actually a pretty important area right here that gets overlooked because it's so far back in the relays, but it's important to note. This is a sanctuary where you meet our very intrusive friend, Cephalon Samaris here. This is a pretty cool syndicate. It doesn't interact with the other ones, and if you do his storyline, basically he'll give you a different version of the codex, and you can hunt down special enemies and scan them with his codex in a little kind of hunting minigame. And when you do that, you get rewards in-game, new guns, mods, things like that. But also you get lore entries about the backstory of this game, which is not really a central focus, but it's all pretty cool stuff. The lore that you get is usually in the form of apocalypse logs from people who lived before the Great War. So you get to kind of read about the cultures and what led up to the circumstances that are in this game. So he's got a very, very cool syndicate. You can actually join it right off the bat, unlike the other ones, so that's pretty neat. There's a bunch of stuff in here. You know, there's Samaris himself, who likes to get all up in your grill. There is, this area here is used to read those lore entries you unlock, and across the way, this is where you get the rewards for doing his quest. this right here you will unlock by doing work for him. It allows you a kind of training mode or a test mode where you can spawn enemies in and use whatever kind of weapons or builds you feel against them. Like if you're testing the damage of a weapon, or you want to see how a certain power works, this is how you would do it outside of a normal combat situation. And then last but not least, this is very important. So I've been through a couple master rank tests already here. These things allow you to take a master rank test without actually taking it. So you can actually practice these things, which is important because when you get to the higher level master ranks tests, they get very hard. So you want to pop up to Cephalon and Samaris and test them out before you do the actual test, because if you fail it, you can't try again for another 24 hours. So you can do a practice run here by finding the rank that you're at. I got Master Rank 1, Master Rank 2. You interact with these objects, and it will usually pop up with a window that says take the test, or I think it's called qualify or training. And training is to take it without any consequences. Not 100% sure why it brought me into the mission, so I'm just going to abort it here. I've already taken that test. I don't need to do it again. I think probably because I did the tests already. So if I interact with this Master Rank 3 test, I can kind of see what I'm in for when I take my third one.
Show me that you know of the old ways. Eliminate all targets using your melee weapon.
Okay, so now I know that my MR3 test is going to be a melee challenge, which is useful to know, because when I go to take that test, I'll make sure I have my best melee weapon equipped. Which, clearly, what I have is going to work pretty well anyway. Hopefully I get a better melee weapon before I hit MR3, because this thing's kind of duty. Oh shit. Alright, now I know I can pass Master Rank 3 when I get there. But of course, because this is a practice test, I don't actually get anything for clearing it.
Another job well executed.
So yeah, those are relays. A lot of useful tools in there, especially once you start interacting with the syndicates. Alrighty, so I think that's probably a good stopping point for me. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And I will probably be doing a couple more of these streams. Happy to answer any questions people have, things like that. Next time I'm probably going to be going back to my main account. I think I've covered most of the early game stuff with the joining of the clans, crafting, things like that. So you'll get the gist of it. Next time we're going to turn it up to 11 and see what happens on the tail end of this thing once you've invested some time Uh, Thanks everybody for checking it out, and I will see y'all next time.